If you follow the stock market, you may have noticed that when news comes out about a particular company, its stock price can change considerably. Why is that? Well, the stock price is, of course, the main mechanism by which investors can essentially let their view of the stock be known. In other words, if they think that the company is valued less, they're going to sell and the price is going to go down. If investors think the value of the company should go up, they're going to buy the stock and the price is going to go up. Now, why is it that this information or news affects the stock price? It's based on these things that we've covered up to now in the lesson. In other words, intrinsic value, book value, and, well, of course, market capitalization. But let's take a look at how it affects, say, intrinsic value. Consider a company run by this CEO and assume for the moment that his business, his company, is to grow and sell coconuts. What if the following news comes out? The CEO is ill. Maybe he has cancer. Maybe he's got something else that prevents him from collecting those coconuts as effectively as he might otherwise do. Well, certainly that should affect the stock price downward, because the probability that we are going to get dividends in the future is decreasing. Either that or the amount of the dividends is going to decrease. So if you think back to the intrinsic valuation that we talked about, the potential for reduced future dividends reduces the value of the company significantly. Now consider another scenario where there's an island with our original company and another company, and news comes out about the soil on the island being contaminated. That news is going to affect not only our original company, but also all the other companies on the island. So you can think of this sort of news as being sector news. In other words, it relates to the sector of growing coconuts on this island, and it affects all the companies in the sector. Let's consider one last scenario where we have many islands with many companies on those islands, and news that might affect all of them, like sea level rising. That is going to negatively impact all of these companies. So we have examples here of company-specific news that affects the price of a individual company, sector-specific news that affects, say, the companies on a particular island or in a particular industrial segment, and market-wide news that affects all the companies in the market. So that's how news can affect the prices of a stock, primarily because they reduce the expectation of future dividends. We've seen how that can affect the intrinsic value, and accordingly, why people would want to pay less for that stock.